Felix's POV.
Alec has been getting better with people recently. The pack is really growing to love him, especially the pups. It's become part of my routine to go with him to the nursery. We're currently walking there right now. After getting lectured by Saya, I'm starting to really let him walk with the crutches, though it's difficult to keep myself from just carrying him around. He doesn't need to walk on his own to get stronger. During Sivolka's last visit, I learned that Alec is a special type of demon. They're called Matridalis, derived from the word meaning matriarch. The Matridalis demons can be any gender, but most often are female, or some form of hermaphrodite. Alex appears to be just male, but to confirm that, we would have to do an ultrasound. Or I could make a better judgment having seen his full naked body, but that has yet to happen. The Matridalis are very uncommon for a good reason. They can use scent glands located on their wrists to manipulate the emotions of other demons. The ring he had hooked through his wrist when we first found him was to get rid of that ability. Because of this, the Matridalis can easily become the leader of a large demon clan, making them highly dangerous and very valuable. I was snapped out of my thoughts when Alec grabbed my hand.
Yes, baby?
He frowned, looking around my face. What wrong?
Nothing. I was just thinking.
Oh. I smiled at him and ruffled his hair, something I've noticed he likes. I wanted to ask.
Yes?
He frowned slightly as a faint blush appeared on his cheeks. Are you, you my wolf? I froze completely, not expecting that. My wolf was vigorously agreeing in my head, scratching for me to let him out.
Of course I am.
The frown didn't leave his face, though, and that worried me. So I crouched down in front of him, trying to get more level with his eyes, so he didn't have to look so far up at me. I placed my hand under his chin and tilted his head slightly closer to mine.
Is there something wrong, baby?
He pursed his lips. Papa say that you my wolf. Am I not yours, too?
You're not a wolf. No.
I know. I didn't quite understand what he meant. Certainly not that he wanted to be a wolf, right? So, am not yours, too? Then it clicked. He wanted to know that if I'm his, he is mine as well. That makes more sense. My poor baby just still isn't great with English yet. I leaned forward and kissed his forehead gently.
You're not a wolf, baby, but you are my little demon, and that's just as good.
There. That's the smile I expected to see, the one that makes my heart flutter. He put one arm out and grabbed my shirt, so I walked closer and wrapped my arms around his waist. The crutches were dropped, so somehow he ended up in my arms again, with his legs wrapped around my waist. I have no idea how that happened, of course. After that, it only seemed fair for me to carry him the rest of the way to the nursery. He was getting tired anyway. At the door, we were greeted by one of the pack elders that enjoys taking care of the pups. She was bottle feeding one of the youngest ones and making sure the other little ones didn't wander out the front door. Good morning, Alpha, Luna. I smiled and nodded at her while walking into the nursery. The pack have started calling Alec Luna, even though we weren't fully mated yet. It makes me happy every time I hear it. The instant some of the pups spotted us, they clumsily wandered over, wanting Alec's attention. I sat him down in a comfortable chair. He was immediately swarmed by 5 of the older pups. I backed away so they could interact with him, without my wolf getting jealous. He doesn't like not having Alec's attention, so it's easier for me to just distract him by doing something else. That something else came in the form of helping Angela, one of the new mothers in the pack. She was currently struggling with consoling a crying toddler while also having both of her twins in slings on her person. I offered to help her and was given Erica, the baby she had in the front sling, so she could properly deal with the toddler. Erica looked a lot like her mother, though the infant was dark-skinned like her father. Thank you, Alpha.
You're very welcome. Is everything all right with Addison?
Angela nodded curtly, patting the toddler's back and rocking gently on her feet. Oh, she's fine, just getting tired and cranky. I'm sure after a good nap she'll be as energetic as ever. I smiled at her before she got distracted again. Being in the nursery was never not chaotic. With over 30 young ones to care for and 11 adults, things were always happening. Admittedly, I'm out of my depth here. Pups are a stressful handful on any good day for me. I do not envy the ladies that work here. An hour or two passed of me standing around holding Erica, idly watching the hustle and bustle of the nursery workers. The baby was fast asleep when her mother returned again. I'm so sorry about that, Alpha. Thank you very much for your help. Angela smiled gratefully as she tucked Erica back into her sling.
Oh, I'm happy to help. Think nothing of it.
We both paused as a chorus of gleeful laughter bounced around the room. I turned back to my mate to see him now fully sitting on the floor, tickling one of the pups with the help of a few others. A warm smile crossed my lips as I watched him. He always seemed so at ease with the pups. I can't help the quiet thoughts that resurface every time I watch him interacting with them. Luckily, my wolf is sleeping right now, so he isn't bothered by the lack of attention we're getting from Alec. He will be a great papa. I was pulled out of my thoughts by Angela, voicing them for me. She had a kind smile on her lips.
Yes, he will.
If we ever end up having children, I'm confident he'll be the perfect partner to raise them with. Alexander's POV.
Baby?
I turned away from the window to see Felix staring at me. Yeah?
Can you come here for a second?
Something in his eyes told me that whatever he wanted me for was important, so I made my way over to the desk. He guided me to sit down on his lap and placed one arm around my waist. The other rested on my thigh. Something wrong?
No, nothing is wrong. I'm just having difficulty with a request, and I needed your comfort.
That made me feel happy. To know that I help him when he's stressed is something I hadn't thought of before. His presence always helps me, so it makes sense. Then my brain registered what he said. What request? There was a visible slump to his shoulders, and he leaned forward, grabbing an already open envelope and pulling a folded piece of paper from it. I knew it was the thing written on the paper that troubled him, but since I couldn't read very well, what does it say?
It's an invitation to a wedding.
I frowned. Isn't a wedding supposed to be a good thing? Why stress?
Because, the bride and I aren't on very good terms, but the groom is one of my friends. I would like to support him, but...
Not her?
Yeah, I suppose that is the problem. We've never seen eye to eye, and it's caused us to have a pretty bad argument a few years back. She's been hostile to me ever since, and I wouldn't want to bring you into that environment.
I paused, thinking of whether or not I wanted to know the reason of their fallout. Is she mean?
That's the thing. Since we don't get along, she's always been a bitch to me, and if you're with me, I can't help but feel like she'll act the same to you.
I frowned. Why do people have to be so complicated?
Okay, I'll just tell him that I can't make it. There's no point in stressing over it when he knows we don't get along.
I nodded, happy that he's not going anywhere.
Well, that's the last of the emails I needed to go through. Is there anything you want to do now, baby?
I shook my head, then paused. Well, He waited patiently for me to continue. I like to go outside.
Okay, we can do that. How about we go down to the pond for a bit?
I nodded happily, and he stands up with me in his arms. After we got dressed, we walked down to the pond. There was a bench here that seemed to be new, and we sat down at it. I swung my feet back and forth because they didn't touch the ground like Felix. He hummed softly to himself, and I looked up at him. Thinking? He chuckled.
Yeah, I'm thinking about how lucky I am to have you.
That made my cheeks heat up, and I looked away. But soon after, he gently tilted my head back towards him, his hand under my chin.
What are you thinking about, baby?
What you said.
And?
I love you. He grinned and leaned down some to kiss the top of my nose.
I love you too.
Do you think I'm good mate?
Absolutely. The best mate. And the only one for me.
I smiled at that. I'll never get tired of his voice and affection. You're good mate too.
I'm glad. I always try to be good enough for you. You're perfect.
I crinkled my nose at that. Not perfect.
Yes, you are. You're perfect for me.
I was about to protest again, but then his lips were on mine, and I completely forgot to argue, just enjoying the warmth and taste of my mate. The end. Author's final note. Hope you all enjoyed, and sorry for the short last chapter. let me know what you think. My next book is going to be quite a long one, so strap in. I'm thinking over 50 chapters, probably. You can find it on my profile now. The name is My Love Flies with Dragons. And so far, I think it'll be my best book ever. So I hope to see you guys there. Bye. Finished. It was short. I actually expected a little bit more angst and like tension and maybe some more bad things to happen. But I guess, it's kind of hard to expect that when, a story is only, 17 chapters long, as well as the fact that, like, they were all super short as well, and it's like a total read of what said, like, 1 hour. Still, it was good. It was a nice little heartwarming tale. But I also wanted something with, like, demons and edgy werewolves and a lot more death and pain. But that's not what we got. Instead, it was just a short little story about a demon who was captured and found, and then, oh, look, there's my love. But, like, after the first chapter, I thought the first chapter was going to lead to a lot more darkness and stuff, and it was going to explore more pain and things like it had stated. But it's fine that it didn't. It was still a good read overall, as far as, like, short stories go. Would have liked to have known more about the main love interest, Mr. Werewolf Man. Finally, last notes. What did you guys think of the voices I tried to do? I was unsure of it, which is also why I wanted to do it on a shorter story as opposed to like a longer one, just to kind of test it out, because I've never done voices for anything. But yeah, what did you guys think? Anyway, I have been L. This has been Mated to Royalty by Spudling Productions. I hope you guys will subscribe and see you in the next one. Bye.